My lawyer, she's all right, but she's kind of a B word. She doesn't listen very well. She cuts me off mid-sentence, tells me, listen, you're doing fine. You're doing perfectly cool. Just keep doing what you're doing. Let's get this baby home. And I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm in the dark all the time.
How to Fight Child Protective Services and Win. I'm joined this evening by my two co-hosts, Miss Erin Carranza and Miss Georgette Truman. Both are up-and-coming social media stars in the CPS world. They both do Facebook shows during the week. I think Erin's show is on Tuesday, and Georgette has a show regarding relatives, placement of children with relatives on Wednesday. And they're both at 7 p.m. Pacific time right here on Facebook, on several different channels, and on YouTube. All right, ladies, let's take another call. Let's talk to Kendall. Kendall from Texas. Kendall, did you have a story to tell or a question to ask?
A little bit of both.
Go ahead.
So 7 months ago, my newborn daughter was taken. And the thing is, I left her with my mom for a weekend so I could go and have a girls' night with all my other mom friends. We were all taking a break from our kids. Normal, right? So that was my last weekend before I actually came back to California because I used to live out there. So I got a phone call from my cousin telling me, hey, your daughter is covered in bruises. Mind you, I know nothing about it. So I confront my mom and I get a first class ticket right back. I went out of state for just a weekend. And I get there and CPS was waiting with a warrant with a police detective for abuse. They said my daughter suffered several fractures to her skeleton at 3 months old. And
oh my God.
They said it was abuse. It was traumatizing for all of us. And my mom would not answer any of my questions, but they took my baby before we could leave. Whenever she got discharged, CPS already had her. And I've been stuck in Texas for 7 months fighting a case that I literally don't have the answers to. The worker has asked me many times. I asked him, what do I do to show you that I'm innocent and also that I'm not guilty of anything and that I'm the best place for my daughter? The father is in the picture as far as DNA testing goes, but he's done none of the services. He has done absolutely nothing. He doesn't reach out to his lawyer. He doesn't show up for court, nothing. I don't really care. So the whole problem is the worker gives me answers in vague answers. He says, alleviate the cause of the removal. And I'm like, okay, what was the cause? I wasn't here. I don't know. How can you make me alleviate the problem that I didn't see? I've already learned to cut my mother off. What else do you want? And they were like, alleviate the cause of the removal. And then you will see what we do. And it's never a straight answer. And I've been traumatized by CPS my whole life as a child. And I've been working really hard to be a much better mother than my mother ever was. I tried to give her the benefit of the doubt. I saw that her vehicle had extensive damage from a car accident, and it was not reported. And it matched with the bruises on my daughter because she had bruises from her car seat buckle. And the hospital called it abuse. They labeled it abuse and called CPS. And they took my baby from me. And I've been fighting ever since. And I'm terrified that I'm going to lose because they just don't listen to me. They don't. I know my rights and they don't like it. My lawyer, she's all right, but she's kind of a B word. She doesn't listen very well. She cuts me off mid-sentence, tells me, listen, you're doing fine. You're doing perfectly cool. Just keep doing what you're doing. Let's get this baby home. And I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm in the dark all the time.
Wow.
Let me ask you something. Have you had your, what they call jurisdictional and dispositional hearing?
No, the attorney, we were going to have what's called in here in Texas, it's called an adversary hearing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty much, the disposition and like the reason for taking them and how I can make my case. It's almost like an instant trial. It's literally scheduled 2 weeks after detention. And the thing is, I've been in Texas this whole time. I've been forced to abandon my life in California, as well as my other child being with his father. I can't see my other child in person. I have to do it on video. And there was a winter storm that hit down here called Hurricane Uri, and it cut off all the power. Nobody could get anything. No phones were working, nothing. So my baby was lost in a winter storm, and nobody could even come see me to tell me it was all right. I'm shaking right now, sorry. But I've been fighting for 7 long months, and they haven't given me any court dates except 2. And those 2 court dates were just progress hearings to see where I'm at in my services. I've done everything.
If it wasn't her fault, it was the grandmother's fault per se. How can they take the baby and then say you alleviate the circumstances which caused the removal? And she's not, the mother's or grandmother's not in the life anymore. How can they not give her to her daughter or place her with other relatives?
They placed her with family friends.
Okay. I didn't know. I thought she was in foster care. Okay.
Do you get along with those friends?
Yeah, we text. She calls me. She updates me. She's a very close friend of my dad's.
So here's the thing, and I'm going to refer you to a Texas attorney that's been on the show, and he's done a couple YouTube videos with me on the YouTube channel. His first name is Matthew, and I'm embarrassed because I can't think of his last name. Our producer Judy is watching.
It's Matthew Harris. Matthew Harris.
Yes. Do you know what city he's in?
Yes, in Lubbock, Texas. I have his phone number.
Okay.
Lubbock is really far. I'm in Houston.
Well, I'm farther, so let's get his telephone number.
Right.
Okay.
Well, my daughter's a California native. That's why I'm calling in for you, because her entire family on her dad's side is over there in California. I lived 9 years there. I lived in LA.
Okay, but I want you to call Matthew and talk to him about your case. What's the number there, Georgette?
It's 806 702 4852.
Okay, Matthew Harris.
Yeah, he's really, in my opinion, he's a good guy. He knows exactly what's going on. He knows how to do these CPS cases. He's an expert.
And I understand what you mean about the alleviate the cause removal. They took her from me. At first, they called it. They tried to get me for abuse because the hospital was dead wrong in their diagnosis, saying that the injury
2 minutes,
was 2 to 3 weeks old. But from what I gathered from the doctor, that it takes about 6 to 9 weeks for hairline fractures to heal. And it took that long after she was taken for them to heal. And now my daughter is suffering from disabilities, Horner syndrome to be exact. And they're trying to pin that on me as well. But I proved to them multiple times that my daughter was born with a drooping eyelid. She was born with that. She's always had a drooping eyelid, and she's 10 months old now. She can't sit independently.
Kendall,
she can't crawl. She can't
hold on a second.
Yeah?
Hold on a second, because my engineer is telling me we have to take a break. What I want you to do is I want you to call Matthew Harris. Your problem is, Tuesday maybe. Your problem is this. They haven't eliminated you as a suspect for causing the injuries. And Aaron, that's why she doesn't have her children. All right. She's telling us the story and we believe her that she didn't do it, but social workers don't believe it yet. Kendall, I want you to call Matthew Harris. I want you to tell him that I told you to call him, and hopefully you can call us back in 3 or 4 weeks and give us an update. Thank you for calling and thank you for listening. This is The Secret, How to Fight Child Protective Services and Win. We'll be back with more calls right after these messages.